My name is Rebecca Heyl, and I'm really happy to be here today to share with you some of the work that I do in Vancouver public schools, specifically elementary schools with primary age children. So a lot of the work that I do with children and my own work as a photographer has to do with light. And how can we bring more light to the world and pay attention? How can we see more of the world and understand it, kind of illuminate it? So that's an overarching theme of my own work and my work with children. So I believe art is important. In the world, art allows us to consider and dialogue with ideas and feelings that we might not be able to put into words. And for children and adults, this is a really important part of being in the world, being able to express ourselves in ways that aren't always with words. Today I'm going to share a project that took place over 6 months' time in a school in Vancouver. This school they were having a seismic upgrade. So they were building a new school, a modern school, next to the old school. They're about 100 years apart in age. Being able to be at the school and watch this new school be built allowed us to work around imagining what this new school could hold, and also asking children about what would they want in the future school. That's what we called it, the future school. So the story I will tell you today is when we transitioned into this school and the 6 months following. I felt like we had a special invitation to get to know this new space, both the inside and the outside space. The way we began this project was to reorient ourselves to this space and how we could look out in front of us through these windows, the playground, the neighborhood that most of the children come from, and then the city behind them. And this became a really interesting way to kind of consider the world and think about even the directions and mapping where are we in Vancouver. I had a really important feeling that I wanted to go deeper. I wanted to kind of explore these layers of history that we may not see on the surface of the land, but we know are there. And how would we do this with children? At first, I considered organizing a painted mural that all the students would be part of making. And I was just about to go ahead with that. Not being a muralist nor a painter, it did feel a bit overwhelming and imposing to take this on, but I felt like I would figure it out as we go. And then I ran into one of my professors, who is an Indigenous professor. I told her that I was having an issue not knowing how to start. She gave me some wonderful advice, but she said, if this work is about the land around you, you need to bring this canvas to the land. And that was the moment that things clicked for me, and I understood, of course, the land will tell me what comes forth. And I said, I have an idea. We're going to bring this canvas outside of the school, and we're going to place it on the grass in front of the school. And we're going to work pushing with our bodies to push it into the ground, and we'll see what comes out of this. I have to admit, it did feel a little bit silly at first, and I wasn't sure what kind of result we would have. But very soon after we put it down onto the ground, the students started saying what it felt to them. Some said it feels cold, it feels squishy, it feels mushy. And then at some point, a student said, look, we found the mountains in our canvas. And that was this moment where I understood there is something here, and we are going deeper into something that becomes a story from the land. So in the afternoon class, we did something similar. I had a bit more faith in that something of beauty or a fascination would come from this. But at some point, after I asked students, what do you notice? What do you feel? And one student said, it's like we're giants and we're molding the mountains with our hands. And that was one of those moments as well of just, there's something in here, there's something deeper. We're getting closer to understanding what it means to really work with the land. as opposed to just admire it. The first thing that happened after we brought in the canvas from the snow was that we noticed that there were all kinds of lines now that were all around the canvas that the packing in had left on them. We were interested to see, where do these lines go? How do they connect? How are they entangled? With students, we basically took up pencils and we started as a group working on this large canvas and connecting all these lines together. At some point it started to look a bit like a topographical map, but it also showed how there's all this kind of entanglement and relationality, which is something that is really important in my practice, to understand how are we related in this world to the nature, to the animals around us, to our family trees, to the trees, in the schoolyard. All these things, these ways of thinking about the world that's in relationship. I think this way of exploring the school in relationship to the land and the nature around it allowed us, specifically the children, to locate themselves, to see where are we. We've transitioned into this new school. How do we feel different about being in this space? Also, what does this space invite? As an educator, that's what I was thinking a lot about. What does this space invite? I think it was really important to kind of acknowledge that we were in this new space and it was difficult, and there were many changes, especially for teachers, that they had to make with new classrooms and children. It was mid-year, actually. They went into the new school. Acknowledge that this was difficult, but also to kind of reorient ourselves and even root ourselves in this new space and appreciate and find where the landmarks are. Maybe these are, emotional landmarks, but they're also physical landmarks. For me, it was a way to acknowledge the land, but it was also an acknowledgement of this new school and the opportunities that we had by being in this new place, and to kind of build a sense of belonging and identity to this new space.